Every new year comes with new opportunities, new challenges, new lessons. But if we don't take time to look back and take inventory of what we learned last year, what we experienced last year, we'll never grow. We'll never have the opportunity to really put that into effect and change our lives. And so on this week's episode, I want to share with you 5 lessons that I learned in 2022 that impacted my life and that I hope will impact you. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the To Be Men podcast, where we come together as men and we challenge ourselves to be better husbands, better fathers, better friends, better brothers, better men. On this week's episode, I want to share with you all 5 lessons that I learned in 2022 that have impacted me and that I hope to put into effect in 2023 to make myself a better man. But before we jump in, I just want to say welcome to the channel if it is your first time. If it's your first time tuning in, man, I'm glad that you're here. I hope that you're challenged, that you're encouraged, and that you leave better than you arrived. If you've been here with us since the beginning, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you're growing and that you're becoming better. The best version of yourself is the version that's out there if you will put in the effort and the time to seek him and to find him. Listen, I'm excited to share with you guys today. Every single year, I take some time to write out a synopsis per se of the previous year. Right, I'll write out kind of big events, what happened, how did it impact me, what did I learn from it, and I kind of just condense it down to an essay per se. And I started doing that, about 3 years ago, and it really has been such an impactful thing for me to be able to look back and say, man, what am I repeating? Right? I started writing 2023. Oh my gosh. I was going to say, I started writing in 2017. 2017 was not 3 years ago. 2017 was 6 years ago. Wow, I feel old. Anyways, I started writing this out 2019, 2020, and I noticed the pattern that, the following years, 2021, 2022, I was like, man, a lot of the same things are happening to me. A lot of the same things are happening in my life, and I'm reacting the same way, and I'm facing a lot of the same issues, and I'm struggling with a lot of the same challenges. And it dawned on me, man, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the same year, living the same life because I'm not growing. I'm not learning anything from those challenges. I'm not learning anything from those life experiences. And so I started to really, really dive into saying, okay, what am I challenged with? What am I facing? What am I struggling with? And how can I grow from that? And so this year, I was really able to pinpoint 5 areas of my life and 5 big lessons that I hope in 2023 to really take focus on and really apply to my life, and so that I won't repeat the same issues in 2024, right? We all have issues. We all face challenges. We all falter. We all fall. But we shouldn't fall on the same thing, right? We shouldn't stumble on the same stumbling stone. We should grow and face a new challenge, face a new lesson, learn something new. And some of these lessons are a little simple, and you guys are probably gonna be like, dude, what are you doing? You're 31 years old. You should have learned this years ago. And that's fair. I should have, but I'm learning now, right? It's not about it doesn't matter how late you learn as long as you learn. It doesn't matter how late you start as long as you start, right? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm starting to see patterns in my life and lessons in my life that I can grow from and learn from every single year. So let's jump into it, right? Lesson number 5 down to lesson number 1. Lesson number 5, accountability begins with me. This is probably one of the biggest lessons, top 5, that I learned in 2022, that accountability really does begin with me. Depending on your environment, depending on the realm of life that you're in, depending on even your work and your beliefs, you may not believe in accountability as much as somebody like me does, right? I'm a pastor. I'm surrounded by men that I speak into their spiritual life, that I get to really dive into their lives, and that they are accountable to me. But I've learned, especially this year, that that's a two-way street, right? If they're going to be accountable to me, I have to be accountable to them. And if I'm going to be able to trust them and to open with them, then I have to begin that process. I can't wait for somebody else to come and say, hey, I want to submit to you, and I want to bring my life to you, and I want you to walk with me in this, and I want you to challenge me in this. Some people do, but that's not the norm. The norm is me going out and saying, hey man, I want to walk beside you. I want to see you grow. I see you struggling with some things that I've struggled with. I've seen you kind of facing some of the same challenges. We're in the same vein of work, of life. And so, man, let's do this together. Let's hold each other accountable. A lot of those times, it begins with me. It begins with me going out and starting that conversation, me going out and saying, hey, I want to hold you accountable, but I'm also going to let you hold me accountable. And that has to be the norm for us. We have to be willing to say, I'm going to challenge you, but I'm also willing for you to challenge me. We have to be open and receptive to receive the same challenge, receive the same accountability that we're trusting and giving to other people. And so you're saying, well, accountability in what areas of my life? How do I even begin this? No, I mean, it's so simple, right? There's different areas of life that we all need to be held accountable in. Number one, and a super obvious one, is in our physical health, right? If we're saying, hey, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to work out, 2023 is the year, I'm going to lose the dad bod, I'm going to get jacked. That's great, man. I'm glad that you're doing that. That's one of my goals for this year. But if I don't tell anybody, if I'm not saying, hey man, I need you to push me, to challenge me, you guys know how it is. You'll hit a couple weeks, you'll go strong, and then you'll hit a slump, and you're like, well, it's Saturday, I'm gonna skip Saturday. But then it's Sunday, and then it's Martin Luther King Day, and I gotta take the day off. And next thing you know, you haven't gone to the gym in 4 days because you don't have anybody to say, hey bud, we go to the gym today? Let's do this. I'm working out with you. We're doing this together. Right? Or at work, right? We all have this accountability built in our jobs with our bosses and our coworkers, especially if we're working on a joint project. I'm saying, hey, this is your part of the job. Here's my part of the job. We got to do this together. For me to accomplish mine, I need you to accomplish yours. And so we're going to hold each other accountable. There's different areas of life that we can do this in. There's different examples. The point is that it all begins with me. It all begins with you. We have to be the ones to say, I want to do this. I want to do this with you. And so I'm willing to open up myself for you to speak with me, and I'm willing to speak into your life as well. Even if it's not easy, even if it's something that might rub off the wrong way, that we might create a little bit of tension, I believe that we're going to grow from it, and that tension creates growth. And so we're going to do this together. I'm going to hold you accountable, and you're going to hold me accountable. But it all begins with me. Lesson number 4 that I learned this year was that my body is not a rental. Again, I know, simple lesson, something that I should have learned a long time ago. And of course, I know I have one body and that's it. But, over the last year, my daughter is a year and a half now, right? So over the last year, she's learned to walk and run and jump and climb upstairs and crawl onto the bed. And it's insane. I feel like I just took her home and she was the size of this water bottle, obviously now she's a little bit bigger. But now she's climbing upstairs, jumping on the bed. It's insane how fast the time is flying by. And I've realized that I've got some work to do if I'm going to catch up. I've got some work to do if I'm going to keep up with her. Once she starts running in the yard and kicking the ball and wanting to do all these things, if I don't take my physical health seriously, I'm gonna just fall behind. I'm not going to be able to give her the life that she deserves. If I'm not able to chase her down the block and to ride a bike with her and to teach her and to take her snowboarding and to do all these things with her, I'm not only robbing myself of the experience, but I'm robbing her of the experience. I'm robbing her of the opportunity to grow and to learn all these things because I'm not fit enough, because I'm not healthy enough. And so that's been a huge awakening for me this year, and a huge realization that, man, I got to take care of myself. I've got to get in shape. I've got to put in the effort and do the cardio, as much as I hate cardio, and do the weightlifting and go and ride my bike and run and create a healthy body that can play with my daughters. I'm about to have another one. My wife is due in like 2-3 weeks, so I'm excited about that. But I'm gonna have 2 little girls running around, wanting to learn how to ride their bikes and go snowboarding and run up and down the stairs and kick the ball and chase the dogs. Like, I have to be able to keep up. And I'll be honest with you, this body is not gonna keep up. So I have to put in the work. And that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned, that this is what I have. I have to work with it, and I have to make it better. And this, right, that's the now idea. Now, as I'm thinking about their future, about prom, about getting married, about having their own kids, like, I want to be around for all of that, right? I'm 31, so let's say 20-ish is when they get married. I mean, 55, that'll be good. I'll be in my 60s probably before I have grandkids, which doesn't seem old. And yet, if I continue to treat my body like a rental, it's gonna feel old. I feel old now, and I'm 30, and so I'm like, man, okay, I gotta treat this thing like it's the only one I have, because it is, and I have to invest in my body. I spend all this time investing, right, in my mind. I love to read. I love to challenge my mind and my spirit. But what about my body? Am I investing in my body, or am I just kind of eating whatever I can because I'm busy and not even caring about what I put in my body, or spending all my time in the desk. Or I have to take this seriously, and I have to jump into it with both feet. And earlier in the week I was talking about, well, I said this actually earlier in the podcast, it's not too late to start. It feels like it. It feels like it sometimes. I'm like, man, I wish I had started when I was 15, when I was 18, when I was 20, but I didn't. And so now I'm stuck at 31 having to start this late in the game, but it's not too late. It's not too late to start. And so that was a big lesson for me. I'm like, okay, I've got to treat this seriously. I got to take this seriously, and I have to invest in my physical health. So lesson number 4, my body is not a rental. Lesson number 3 was I won't be given a blessing that I can't manage, right? That's Christianese. That's the pastor in me talking. But for you guys that you're not Christians and you're just kind of tuning in to learn something new, you won't be given an opportunity you won't be able to handle, that you can't handle, right? You won't be given an opportunity, a blessing that you can't handle. So let's break that down, right? I think we all understand, if it's too much to handle, then it'll fall apart and I won't be able to do it. But the more I thought about this year, I had the opportunity to step into a new role at work, and I had the opportunity to go out and do a kind of a college course for pastors, and I had the opportunity to teach, and man, I was given a lot of different opportunities this year, which was a huge blessing. And there was a few other opportunities that weren't given to me that I wasn't able to take advantage of. And at first I was kind of frustrated about it. I was like, man, I could have done that. I could have handled another thing on my plate. I'm pretty flexible. I can handle a lot of things. And so I was frustrated when I wasn't given the opportunity. I was frustrated when I wasn't able to step into a new role, when I wasn't able to do something new. But over time, I started looking back and saying, man, if I hadn't done that, I would have missed out on a few things I was able to do this year, that because I had the free time, when something spontaneous came up, I was able to jump into it. Or I was able to give more attention to areas of my life that I didn't realize needed more attention. And if I had taken on the new role, if I had taken on the new opportunity, I wouldn't have been able to have that time, that bandwidth to give it the attention it deserves. And so I started to think, all right, I'm craving this opportunity. I'm chasing this opportunity, but I'm not ready for it. I'm overwhelmed as it is. I've got too much on my plate, and I want to throw another thing on there. Yeah, sure, it sounds good. Like, I'm gonna do everything I can to help. I'm gonna do everything to grow. I'm gonna do everything I can to challenge myself and challenge other people. But to a certain extent, that's good. Eventually, you'll get to a point where there's no more. You can't handle anymore, and you'll be, or you can, and you'll be giving 50% of your attention here, and 10% of your attention there, and 5% of your attention, and nothing gets your full attention. Nothing gets the full dedication that it deserves. And so I started thinking, okay, what can I do in my own life to better prepare myself, better equip myself, better train other people, better equip other people, better empower other people, so that there's some things I can hand off to someone else so that I can step into something new, or I can train someone else to help me cover some ground so I can step into a new opportunity, or give somebody else the new opportunity so that they can be challenged and they can grow, and I can focus on other things that are more valuable for me, for my family, for my time. And so that was a huge lesson to me, to prepare myself for what I don't have but what I want, but also be willing to let go of some things so that I can step into something new. And let go doesn't mean I don't care about it anymore. It just means, hey, I've hit the end of that season. Now I'm going to hand it off to somebody else so they can do it better, faster, and go further than I ever could. And now I can face my attention and focus my attention on another thing. And so that was a huge thing for me. I won't be able to walk in a blessing that I'm not prepared for. I won't be able to walk into an opportunity that I'm not prepared for. I've got a mentor in my life who always says, you got to stay ready to keep from having to get ready. And that was a huge thing. At first I was like, ready. I don't get it. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, man, the more I prepare myself, the more I equip myself now, when something happens and I'm ready, I don't have to say, man, I wish, thanks for the opportunity, but I'm not ready now. I have to put in this time. And I can say, yeah, I'm ready, because I let go of some things, because I spent some time investing in my mind and in my spirit and in myself and in my education. I'm ready to take it today, right now. And so that was a huge thing. Get ready for the blessing that you want. Get ready for the challenge that you want. Get ready for the opportunity that you want before you even have it. Lesson number 2. This was a big one. My weakness deserves as much attention as my strength. That one I'm still kind of wrestling with. That's something that I'm still facing, that I'm still like, it makes sense to me now, but I haven't fully applied it. So I'll give you guys a little bit of backstory. My strengths, I would say, are my communication, are my galvanizing. From what I think, I'm good at it. I'm good at gathering people together. I'm good at kind of big picture, big idea, dreaming. Let's plan this stuff out. The details, the small things is where I'm not so good at. My attention to detail is not the greatest. And so, schedules and deadlines and the minute stuff, and it's not minute, it's important, but the small stuff that builds up to the big, greater things, that's not my strength. And for the longest time, I said, hey, that's somebody else's job. They can do that. My job is just to create the big picture plan, the big picture idea, and then you guys figure out how we do it. And to an extent, that's fine. That worked until the point that it didn't. It got to a point where my weaknesses were actually overshadowing my strengths. Yeah, it's great that I can come up with these great ideas, but if I can't come up with how to follow through with them, if I can't come up with the details, if I can't meet the small deadline that's going to lead us to the big deadline, then what's the point of planning? What's the point of the big dream if I can't plan on how to get there? And so I started to focus more time on my weaknesses. I was like, okay, I gotta get a planner. I gotta get a schedule. I gotta set timers. I gotta set reminders, to-do lists, all these things that are not the norm for me, that are out of my strengths. They were my weaknesses, but they were helping strengthen my strengths. And so this year, I've really started to focus on that, and I'm still learning. I'm still growing in that, which this is why I translated over to 2023, right? I used to think that, hey, if I'm a solid 8 in dreaming and planning and envisioning, that's where I'm gonna stay. And if I'm a 3 or 4 in the details, am I really gonna get that much better by becoming a 5, a 6? No, I'd rather focus my attention becoming a 9 in the dreaming, right? Scale of 1 to 10. And that seemed like a good idea until my weaknesses again started to overshadow my strengths. And so now I'm saying, okay, I'll never be an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10 at attention to detail, at planning and organizing. That's just not my strength. But I can be a 5. I can be a 6. I can help cover my own weakness. I can help supplement that. And again, it's never going to become a strength, but at least I can stop it from being a hindrance. And so that was a huge thing for me. That's one thing that I want to share with you guys as well. If there's something that you're struggling with, if there's an area of your life where like, man, I'm not really good at that, and it was fine for a while because I was really good at this, but now it's starting to become unbalanced, it's time to work on those weaknesses. It's like when you're going to the gym. Nobody works out just pecs. Nobody works out just biceps, but that's not true. There's dudes out there that just want massive biceps and could care less about their legs. But no matter how strong one muscle is, if your back muscles, if your core, if your legs are weak, you're always going to be lopsided, off balance. You're never going to be at your full capacity. It's the same thing here. If your weaknesses are overshadowing your strengths, you'll never operate at full capacity. So give your weakness the attention that it deserves. And lastly, lesson number 1, no man is an island. That was a huge lesson for me this year. There's no such thing as a lone wolf. I think as men, we have this mindset that I can do everything by myself. I don't need people. I don't need other support. I don't want to, whether it's a good right, I don't want to be a burden, or I'm too proud to accept the help. We as men always think we can handle it on our own. And listen, if I learned anything this year, is that you will die if you try to do things on your own. You're big and bad, but you're not that big and bad, buddy. Like, I'm not that big and bad. I can't handle the weight of life on my own. I can't handle the stress. I can't handle the challenges. I can't face this life on my own. I need friends. I need my family. I need other strong men to come beside me so that we can go further together. That was honestly one of the biggest reasons that I started this podcast and this movement, is because I believe that together as men, we can truly make a difference in the world. Not just in our world, not just in our lives, but in the entire world. If we can learn to come together and challenge each other and encourage each other and hold each other accountable and push each other, if we can come together as men, we can make a difference. But so many of us have the lone wolf mindset, right? The lone ranger, I'm the guy and I don't need anybody and I can handle this on my own. And I used to think that same way. Mine was from a pride side. Mine was from I got it. I'm skillful. I'm talented. I've put in the work. I've put in the effort. I can do this on my own. I don't need your help. I'm strong enough. I'm smart enough. I'm brave enough. The reality of the things is I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not brave enough. I'll never be enough to face it on my own, to face life on my own, to face the sadness of life, the depression of life, the pressure of life, the challenges of life. I'll never be able to do it on my own. And thank God that I don't have to do it on my own. You know, over the last couple of years, I've spent a lot of time and energy building a community of good, strong men that surround me, that challenge me, that embrace me, that push me, that hold me accountable. And I do the same for them. I challenge them and I encourage them and I push them and I motivate them and I say, you can be better than you are today. And they tell me the same thing. And when I fall, they pick me up. And when they fall, I pick them up. When I need help, they help me. When they need help, I help them. We support each other. We come together as brothers and we grow stronger together. It's one of the biggest things I've learned in life, and specifically this last year. You know, some of you guys know I spent some time in the Army way back when. And one of the biggest things I missed coming back to, you know, the quote unquote civilian life was the lack of camaraderie, the lack of the built-in brotherhood. That's a huge thing in the military, is that you have a brotherhood and it's built in. It's part of what they do. It's part of their training, is that you come together as a unit and I got your six, you got my six. And in the civilian world, that's not the norm. It's very much I'm after my piece of the cake, you're after your piece of the cake. As long as we don't budge, you're fine. Do your thing, I'll do my thing. And so that was a huge area of my life that I missed. And so being able to step into that and find other guys that are like, hey, I'm willing to put in the work. I'm willing to come beside you. I got your six, you got my six. That was a huge blessing. And I want to encourage you guys, find your crew, find your tribe, find your brotherhood, whatever you want to call it. Find the guys that will come around you and that will support you and challenge you and encourage you. And you as well have to do that for them. Right, lesson number 5 was accountability begins with me. Well, let's tie this all together and say it all begins with you. Learning to be part of a tribe, it begins with you. Learning to be part of a pack, it begins with you. Coming together as men and challenging each other, it all begins with you. You can make the difference. You can make the impact, but you have to find people that will come alongside you. And it may be one guy, it may be 10, 20, 50, I don't know. I don't know what your realm of influence, I don't know how many people you know, I don't know how many guys you have around you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's one guy or 100 guys. All you need is a strong brother, a strong friend that can come beside you and say, I got you. I'm with you. I'm for you. And if you don't have that right now, man, I'm here for you. I got you. I'm with you and I'm for you. And so if you need to reach out, find me on social media, find me on Instagram, comment on the videos, comment on the podcast, and let's get together. Let's connect and let's grow stronger as men. Let's be better men. So there it is, guys. 5 top lessons from 2022 that I'm taking into 2023 to just learn and grow and be a better man. What about you? What did you learn this last year? What are you implementing in your life? What are you changing in your life to be better? Or are you starting to think now, hey, I haven't actually thought about this and I haven't learned anything in the last 5 years and I keep making the same mistakes? All right, well then take the time to pinpoint those mistakes. Take the time to pinpoint those lessons and find out, okay, I need to work on 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't matter. I need to work on these things to be better, to be stronger, to be a better man. Man, I love you guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Make sure you guys stay tuned, stay connected. Follow me on Instagram over at John Portillo. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. Hit that bell notification, hit the like button, all of that. And if it's something that's worked for you and it's challenged you, man, share it with a friend. Let's grow this community. Let's grow this partnership and let's all become better men. Can't wait to see you guys on the next episode of the 2B Men Podcast.